Thank you. Hi, I'm Nate Hoffman, and I just recently graduated from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, where I did research with the biochemistry department under Professor Gores. Now, let me take you back to 1928. Sir Alexander Fleming comes home from a trip to discover that his bacterial cultures have been contaminated with a fungus. Upon further examination, he found that the bacteria was unable to grow in the area immediately surrounding the fungus. Well, this chance event was what actually led to the discovery of penicillin. Now, I've often wondered how Fleming must have felt coming home to this discovery, but I would imagine it's not entirely unlike how we felt in our lab when we discovered that atypical antipsychotics, class of medication generally used to treat schizophrenia disorder, wasn't able to inhibit the lytic cycle of the Epstein-Barr virus. Now, for those of you who aren't virologists out there, the lytic cycle is the stage of a virus's life cycle when it is able to replicate and infect new hosts. But why should we care about the Epstein-Barr virus in particular? Well, there's actually a couple of reasons. First off, it is estimated that at least 95% of the population harbors an Epstein-Barr virus somewhere in their body. Now, in the vast majority of people, this has little to no effect. However, as some of you may know, the Epstein-Barr virus is the causative agent of infectious mononucleosis. What you may not know, however, is that it is also associated with a number of different cancers. Now, what I was working on before the pandemic kind of shut everything down, was trying to figure out the exact mechanism by which this occurs. And this is really important for a couple of reasons. First off, there's currently no cure and very few treatments for Epstein-Barr virus infections. And all of the medications we are testing have already been approved by the FDA for use in people, so theoretically could be put into use almost immediately. Perhaps more importantly, however, is that it would give other researchers a target for future pharmaceuticals. Either way, the end goal is the same, and that is to improve the treatment of the Epstein-Barr virus and its associated cancers. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nate. Judges, let's turn on your video. Are there any questions?
Hi, Nate. What are next steps for you? What are you interested in doing next related to this?
Yeah. So working when things got shut down was the two main kind of things that atypical antipsychotics normally work on in people is the serotonin and dopamine receptors. So what we were working on was first trying to figure out how serotonin and dopamine affect this virus on their own. And then the next step would be to incorporate serotonin and or dopamine and the atypical antipsychotic with the virus to see how that would occur or how that would affect it. And the plan was to use that data and the different kind of profiles, because there's different receptors for serotonin and dopamine, and each medication affects slightly different ones. So the end goal was to use the data on how serotonin and dopamine affected this to kind of narrow down which specific receptor is involved.
Thank you.